आईसीएसआई के यूट्यूब पे जुड़े सभी दर्शकों को हमारा बहुत बहुत नमस्कार है. A very good evening from India. Good afternoon, good morning, in whatsoever time zones you are. We are with our next webinar on Monday. This is 28th August. A new week has started, and we have also continued with our series that we have started from 15th of August, wherein we are bringing eminent scholars, speakers, researchers, and the people, those who are expert in tourism, hospitality, and aviation industry. And why is this so? This is because we want to generate a pool wherein we can collect lot many information related to tourism, hospitality, and aviation. And all these are just the glimpses that you are seeing every day from Monday to Friday in our webinars. The whole galaxy will be there on 5th and 6th October, when we will be hosting our 22nd annual convention of Feast in Bhubaneswar Hotel Sandy Tower. And in this particular series, today we have with us Shri Syed Wali Khaled ji, Chairman, Rajasthan Chapter, Association of Domestic Tour Operators of India. So before welcoming Sir on stage in front of every one of you, please allow me to share a few slides of this particular event and what all ICSI is doing. And after that, we will straight away goes to Mr. Khaled, and we'll discuss with him crafts traditions of Rajasthan. So here to begin with, I hope my slides are moving and you can see that they're moving.
No, in fact, they are not.
Okay. Just a minute, just a minute. Okay, so with this, now what ICSI believe, why ICSI doing all these things, why we are coming daily in front of everyone and sharing lot many information related to various aspects of service industry. Service industry is a huge sector. It's a complete industry. And under this broader umbrella, we have different variety of segments, not just tourism, not just hospitality, not just aviation, but a large number of segments. And we do talk on each of the segments one or the other day and on different occasions. So nowadays, since in September, we also be waiting for World Tourism Day, and our upcoming convention of Feast. Feast is also dedicated for tourism, hospitality, and aviation. So why not to do this session with all the experts? So this particular body that I'm talking about, it has been launched in 2001. And what is the significance of launching that? So you always know that we have many organizations related to tourism, hospitality, and aviation when we say as a business. So we thought that why not to have, these are the listings of all the organizations in India and abroad related to tourism, which is lobbying in between the government and the people, those who are into the industry, dealing and creating business, the corporates. But what about the education? What about the skills? And here is Feast. So Feast is forum of educators and skill providers for tourism. And when we say tourism, don't think it is a small thing. Tourism encompasses all the 5 A's: accommodation, hotel, restaurants, aviation. So everything is included in this one particular industry. So we thought that this industry needs skill. This industry needs the manpower, which should be skilled. And there is no such association which is there for the education in this particular so-called vocationalized part of this particular sector. So feast came into the mind of then chairpersons and presidents of ICSI, and they formulated this particular organization. And we have more than 1,000 members of them all across, not only in India, but across the globe. And now in this year, in 2023, physically, because we are moving out of the pandemic times and we are coming back to the normals. So 22nd Annual International Convention and B2B Meet is in Bhubaneswar, Hotel Sandy Towers in Odisha. And you all are welcome in that. So these are the organizing committee members for our convention, international convention. And this is the part of the program that we are doing, since it is a 2-day program. So we have discussions, deliberations, panel sessions, and also expos. And also especially we have kept a particular session for the education researchers, experts from tourism, aviation, and hospitality, wherein they can choose the sections, where they can choose the topics, and they can come and present there. You all are most welcome, because then that platform will become such an important platform wherein latest on tourism, aviation, hospitality combined with technology, AI, will be presented. So the entire theme of this convention is artificial intelligence in tourism, hospitality, and aviation. So with this, I'm not taking much of your time, and we will straight away go to Sir, because we want to listen his expertise, his view, his dedication and devotion into this particular field. So I just want to say that whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Just think on it, and nothing is impossible. You can do any thing which you seems impossible, that also becomes possible if you wish to, if you are dedicated towards that. And our Sir, our today guest, is a live example for that. And we will just got to know some details about Sir. And before making him live on the screen, let me just take you through his accomplishments, his things, and what Mr. Syed Wali Khaled, the chairperson, Rajasthan chapter ADTOI, is. He is an entrepreneur, researcher, teacher, mentor, and a life tourism professional. He's presently associated with Incredible Life Academy Private Limited and the founder of Sterling Vacations. And as a guest lecturer for Department of Tourism and Hospitality, Jamia Millia Islamia. And he has a wide experience of 25 years industry experience working as a senior managerial level with regional, national, and multinational companies. He teaches entrepreneurship and innovation with other tourism management subjects to the students at postgraduate and undergraduate level at the Department of Tourism. And he is also closely associated with cause of tourism in Rajasthan and is serving in the capacity of chairman, as we know, as I told you, chairman with the Rajasthan chapter of Association of Domestic Tour Operators in India. He's also the member of Indian Association of Tour Operators. He has been championing the cause of rural and craft community of India. Shri Khaled has designed, developed, and delivered experiential travel programs for national, international travel companies for their Indian and foreign nationals. He has been instrumental in formulating a day in the life, DITL, a rural community traveler connect program for Grand Circle Corporation overseas adventure travel in India. and he has traveled extensively in India and abroad with group delivery services and many more. And not to miss, there are a lot many things, because as I told you, today's speaker is a live example of his dedication, devotion towards this industry, and he has also rendered services as creative communication consultant for advertising agency, and his slogan, supporting the education of girl child, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao program. Wow, we should clap for this. Today, adorn one of the cover of special international edition of Department of Post, Ministry of Communication, Government of India, through an organization, OJAS. He has been able to extend help in upskilling of youth and marginalized sections of rehabilitation of the people affected by floods and natural calamity. He is also a certified MEPSC trainer. We know MEPSC is Sector Skill Council, Management, Entrepreneurship, and Professional Skills, and a certified life coach specializing in skilling of human resources with focus on mindfulness and purpose. So I'm honored to welcome such a dignitary. Please, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, fold your hands and make an applause for this gentleman. Sir, a very good evening, and we are privileged that you are with us today.
Thank you so much, Chitraji. You've been very kind. You have spoken a lot on it, but my efforts are all little humble. Thank you for that, Chitraji. Thank you.
We are humbled, sir, to listen these words from your mouth. So we can start. And today we know that you are going to take us through Rajasthan and the craft and the handlooms and all the cultural part of that. We are very much eager to listen to that. So how's your experience with Rajasthan, sir? As a tourism professional, what are your views? We know that Rajasthan is one of the important part as far as tourism is concerned. So what is your views onto that to begin with?
Yeah, the tourism in Rajasthan has really picked up very, in the way that it should have. 2019 was the benchmark that we all understand what the metrics are to be mapped up. If we have to understand that, it has really been picking up, and almost all parameters are showing that, barring the inbound tourism, domestic has really replaced what inbound has not been able to because of various constraints that it still finds itself in. Outbound is, of course, yet to take up its own way that it was in 2019, but overall domestic tourism has really pitched in, replaced. The entire scenario has changed because of domestic tourism. It has really supported where the inbound tourism has not been able to pick up, or outbound it would definitely pick it up in some time. That's, we will say that.
Right.
Gigi.
Right. So to begin with, are we going through a presentation, sir, or should we?
Yeah, Chitraji, if you allow me, I would share a PPT.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Ji.
You would have to tell me in between, just because it might also get stuck, that as we had seen earlier as well.
Hanji. No worries, sir. I will.
Yeah, thank you so much. So to begin with, I belong from Rajasthan. I come from Rajasthan. So this is where I would be able to tell you a little bit of my part of world. And what best would it be if I have to talk about is the living craft traditions of Rajasthan. Whenever you want to present or promote India, definitely Rajasthan is the one picture that you promote or you project. And behind all this, it is the craft traditions of Rajasthan, which really is glittering on the horizon for Rajasthan. So today I would be talking about the living craft traditions of Rajasthan, specifically for the tourism offering of cultural experiences. As we can see post-pandemic, So that is where I think it makes sense for us to understand what and how in the change scenario, we would be able to harness the potential and the possibilities of living craft traditions of Rajasthan. So moving on, as you had already told me what exactly I am doing right now. One thing that I would also like to tell you, is it moving?
So we are still on first slide.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
So there is another book that is coming up, The Living Craft of Western India, and that's in print. It would soon hit the stands. It's under print. So it also talks about the living craft of Western India, wherein I have spoken about not only Rajasthan but also Gujarat. It is a contiguous state and very much brother sister kind of a sibling state for the craft and culture and many of the traditions that we have, barring the language. Everything seems to be the same because of the terrain and geographical locations. And of course, the one underlying thing is the craft tradition is as beautiful in Rajasthan as it is in Gujarat. And the people out there, the communities have really, for thousands of years, have really managed to hold that up and present to the world the beautiful things in the harsh land that we see in Gujarat and of course in Rajasthan. The lands have been very unremitting, but the colors that they have they've been able to weave has been stupendous, and that is the hallmark of life in Rajasthan. So now let us understand what has happened because in 2019 when 2020 when the COVID had hit our shows like others, we were all stuck inside, and post that the tourism has really changed. It has changed to a certain in an extent that we are not able to even understand what exactly it is at the moment. Until 2019 there was a phase where everything was very different, and today what we see is altogether different. Even we can say that 180 degrees of change has happened over the years, over the last 4 or 5 years. And now there are certain unmistakable imprints of it, which we can see. There are signals of it we can see. And as post-COVID, most of the people we see are, after there has been a term called the revenge tourism, but it actually was a pent-up demand for tourism, which we see the demand has really taken us to a newer horizon, wherein it has become a people's industry, people's movement, people's activity, which is the highlight rather than the monuments and other things that used to be catering to the people. Now people would are seeking personalized, meaningful experiences, because post-pandemic, in the pandemic, that was a time when people have had a change of heart. They would now understand that beyond the rat race, there is always a life, and that life it needs to be unraveled, to be known, to be sought. And probably with the new generation also chipping in, and the old generation understanding that life is much more than chasing the materialistic dreams, it also made them understand that there has to be a deeper connection with the self, with the nature and places and people. This is what the connect that they've started and had to have. And the connection, what they seek inside is actually being propelled outside as well. So to know themselves, to make sense of the world, they are moving outside. They're traveling, traveling at places that they have never been to, doing things that they have really never did it before. In doing so, they've been trying to understand what actually they are. Now it is kind of a search for themselves, search for their own purpose of life. So that is probably tourism has meandered from being just a leisure activity to a very meaningful activity. And herein, with the flux that is coming in, also becomes not only the change that has come in, not only brings in opportunity, but also challenges for the tourism service providers. So now what we also see is the local experience is what everybody is asking for. Even if you look at the Google or Netflix's, every other company on the face of this earth has been promoting local experiences. And why not? So people would now look for local experiences for their own as an extension of their own self. So street market, food, art, etc. They've been looking at, and it is also it, as we talk in cultural realm, that there are favored factors, and that happens to be Rajasthan tourism's most favored factor, because it is where the cradle of tradition and culture, which we have been showcasing, has been the hallmark of Rajasthan tourism. And I, for one, believe that it has yet to be, harnessed to the way it needs to be. So, offering experiences that are integrated to the local culture, authentic and transformative, is what is actually the need of the hour, and that is what the demand has been from the people themselves. And so the industries would have to change. Now, tourism service providers, of all the tourism service providers, hotels and OTAs could understand that there are winds of change been blowing, and so they have changed. There are experiences coming in from companies like Airbnbs, who are actually looking for experiences to give to their people who are having their services opted for. But there is a whole line of intermediaries which has really been missing out on the action. To name it, tour operators are one such segment, which really is fighting for its own existence. And all of a sudden, people have started asking. We have some time back, we had this conference in Jaipur, wherein we posed questions to these tour operators and intermediaries. What is the challenges that they are facing? So one for particular reason, they would say there has been changing customer preferences, which they have to understand better, to give them, to be able to be in the existence, in the chain of value system of the tourism chain. They would have to understand what they need to give. Earlier, the tour operators and intermediaries would be having their own programs woven close to the hotels, or rather would depend on hotels and transportation. The tour operators and other tourism service providers in the intermediaries between one end of the customer and the other end of the accommodation and the service, the activities happening, they would have to reinvent themselves. They'll have to understand what are the requirements of the people, because oftentimes we are hearing from the tour operators that most of the tour operators have been they've become only information centers, or because the clients would come to them, they ask for programs, and then they would book on themselves, rather taking the help of the tour operators. And to that situation, I would say, yes, of course, if you do not add value to your own services, you do not make a value proposition to the clients, to the customer, they would not come to you, because you are not really filling up their needs. So we'll have to understand what the customer would want. And now the change in scenario does tell that hoteliers have understood that the inbound has really gone down, the domestic tourism has really propped up, so they would have to cater to the needs of the domestic travelers and tourists of India. Not only have they done that, they've also moved a little ahead, and they've really usurped, I would say, usurped the role of a travel experiences providers, that once the tour operator, it was the main domain of the tour operators. They have done that. So now the tour operators do feel that what exactly is their role. So there is an uncertainty, and there has been rapid changes that's happening. There is a fluctuation of demand, and just because the supply chain disruptions are there. So since being into the being a tour operator myself for a long time, being the head of the chapter of ADTOI, the Association Domestic Tour Operators of India, I would put forth certain points for everybody to understand that what exactly is happening. So I'll take you to the next slide, wherein there is a scholar, Pier Luigi Sacco, Italian, academician, who has come out with the model of cultural revolution. As per him, there has been 3 revolution phases. Right now, we are into the 3rd. Let me just walk you through the 3 phases so that you would be able to understand. To give you a brief outline of the 3 revolution, let us just understand how they have, how they would have to be seen as. It's the very first cultural revolution is where you might take it as the industrialization, pre-industrialization phases. There would be a different eras, different times of people, countries, nations, where the period would be very different. It might have hit Europe in a time which probably might not have hit India. So the phase would definitely change over time. To better understand, we would have to understand that the industrialization, whenever it happened, had prior to that there was a phase. We would term it as a cultural revolution 1. And then when the industrialization hit the shores of any of these nations, when the nation states started having an existence, when they started coming into their own, that would have been the second cultural revolution part. And the third is where now what we are at the moment, post-pandemic, and though it started a little earlier for Europe, but yes, for us, it started post-pandemic. So in the very first cultural revolution, what we see is in this phase, cultural tourism was often associated with the visits of explorers. As we can see, when people would want to go to other lands and understand what exactly are the other lands like, the people out there, what they do, what is their significance, how different they are from us. So that was the curiosity they started with the cultural revolution. And the main attraction would be the ancient monuments, the heritage sites, religious places. And thus the travel was limited to a privileged few people, because if you understand, pre-industrialization periods were all of poverty for masses, but there were handful of oligarchs who would have the income and the wherewithal to have the travel for themselves. So in India, example of this phase was, if you have to really understand, is it's a very long period where people would not travel beyond because of religious inclinations, or primarily because of not having money or resources with them, so they would not move on. But of course, until very recently, for India at least, people would never have traveled until we had this liberalization happening in 1991. Post 1991, yes, of course, the open sky policy, which came in, everything became so accessible to Indians, and that is when we started moving on. So for us, until 1991, Cultural Revolution 1 was there. So we move on to the Cultural Revolution 2. That is the emergence of the mass transportation and the growth of the middle class. So that is the rise of the middle classes. You can understand in 80s, 90s, 2000 and 2000, the last two decades have been the rise of the middle class. And that is where we are trying to have our own people, because it's a humongous population which is claiming that and their own right of existence in the in the community of the world. So we, of course, we are now claiming it for our own self. So tourists began seeking leisure, entertainment, and relaxation, resulting in the rise of beach resort, theme park, commercialized tourist destination now. So it is basically the mass tourism. In fact, these cultural revolutions should also be seen as overlapping each other. So some places might be a little laggard in terms of catching up of the cultural revolution, but on the whole, it happens to be these three phases that every nation people would also undergo through. So there would have been cultural experiences were often packaged for mass consumption, leading to a more standardized and surface level engagement with the local culture. So in here, people would go to other places, look at them, inquire, connect with people of the other lands, understand, go into their homes, understand what they are, how they are. And that is how the Cultural Revolution 2 would have been. But the Cultural Revolution 3 is a little different. People do often go to other people, places, interact with them, interact with the local people. But of course, now here they want to co-create as well. So the Cultural Revolution 3 is of co-creation, collaboration, creativity, collaboration, and co-creation. So this is wherein the tourists in this phase seek more of meaningful, authentic, and immersive cultural experiences. I outlined at the very first initiation of this session. We can say there has been a shift from the passive consumption to the active engagement. They want to be dirtying their hands into making potteries, taking that experiences with them. They want to get a hold of any activity, be a part of it, not only just interact and talk with people and eat their food, but also make their food as well, do what they do, like they would wear like what they are. So they want to be a part of that particular moment of that cultural encounter, cultural experience. So there has to be a sustainability and responsible tourism, which really has picked up, wherein it is not only the not only the money which is required. It is not only the environment that we are looking at, but also the people we are also talking about. So the three things, the triple bottom line has to be also integrated into this kind of a revolution when it's happening. We'll have to look at the people, the planet, and of course the money, of course, just because it's an economic activity. So digital technologies has really impacted the social media has really played a great role in shaping the tourist experiences and sharing cultural insights. In India, this phase has seen a surgence of interest in traditional arts, crafts, yoga. So now this is where the queue also lies for our tour operators to understand. I would also delineate at the little later what in what ways the tour operators and the intermediaries can really interact and have products and services lined up for the demanding customers of this time. So creativity, collaboration, and co-creation would be the hallmark we would see. Now talking about not only India, but also Rajasthan, we have some craft tradition utensils, which are actually the essentiality of having a craft in of the features of craft that we have. There has been a common thread of unending line of continuity. Now, what you see at the back of at the back end of this slide, the background is actually a pot from almost 3,500 BC. So, which is from Chanudaro, the Indus Valley civilization. You would, anybody who's looking at it would never find it very different, odd, even looking at this today, because it is also the same pottery that we are still using. So there has been a common thread of unending line of continuity. You would see Rajasthan very steeped into this kind of a continuity. India steeped in this kind of a continuity from the past. The past comes into the present, and the present also catches up with the future. So there has been the coexistence of the past and the present always in India, at least if not at the global side. Now, you would also see the bullock carts in the Indus Valley civilization still being used in India as well, when you are also having a Mercedes going past by from on the roads. So there has a beautiful coexistence of the ancient with the modernity. So the craft that we have in Rajasthan and India have a duality of aesthetics and a utilitarian. Most of the if you see the cultural revolution 1 and 2, it was aesthetics being patronized by the kings. Now, and the utilitarian part was also there with the communities. So that is where there was a beautiful blend of aesthetics and utilitarian. Indians by nature are utilitarian in their characteristics. Everything they do has to have a utility, otherwise they would not do it. To the utility, they would add aesthetics. And that is this aspect which is really catching up with the new generation, which is really looking at aesthetics and utilitarian. Handcrafted are there, so there has to be non-uniform diversity. Diversity is the hallmark of India. Its people, it's it does also of the craft that it has. What you see chiseling marks of a human effort is what unique imprint of human little marks of imperfection. That is the unique attribute of Indian crafts. You would love to see that. Instead, you would not want a very plain rough plain surface, smooth surface of marble at your home if you really want to have a piece of Indian art and culture. So there has to be a diverse knowledge and skills. The craft men, the people would not only know how to make it, they would also know how the chemicals would also play when you are mixing with this the clay or the fabric. They would also know what temperature they have to, what they would also know what designs they would have to. They would also know how to frame that the cloth into a frame. So they would also know the glassware, the metalware. So it is also, they would have also understood the marketings of it. So one family, these were all family oriented artifacts being produced, and every family would have done the entire job. So they were knowing all the skills and all the knowledge, unlike today's time where the specialization is happening. So unlike that, every family would have known the material, the tools, the procedures and techniques used in it. So they were all inherited from family, the generations to generations. So thus they became the caste based. So that is also a hallmark. So you would have a Neel Garonka Mohalla, or Khati Konka Mohalla, or so these kind of people and families and caste based communities specialize in certain skills, and that is how the perfection, and how for thousands of years from one generation to the other generation we still have it. So there is a common thread of unending line of continuity just because of the structures that we have inherited from our forefathers. So these are all community based, so social exchanges that has happened. We would also see that Jajmani was one particular structure which was in the rural hinterland, where the people would all give their fares to the Jajman, who would in return would give them grains and other support to the village people. So it was all exchanges that was happening. The social exchanges was happening. So there was, when a skill was being brandished, it was also with the pride and emotion. So this is an emotional connect that people found themselves. So Rajasthan is a land, a land of culture and chivalry, of course, everybody knows for that. So this is where until today, and I'm sure it will also project wide ahead in the future as well. It will remain the same thing with beautiful colors and culture, crafts, and chivalry of the people. It would fit well as the finest place for immersive experiences with crafts, tradition visible at any lane. When you go to a lane of Jaipur, of a Jodhpur, or a village, or a hamlet, what we call as the Dhani, you would always see some at the corner and someone chipping away from the wood, or hammering the metal to make something out of it. There is a tire dyeing happening, a color being sprayed. So these things are all happening all across. It is very mundane. It is a part of our life. So we have all continued with it. So Rajasthan happens to be the hub of culture and tradition for all stages of tourism, be it Revolution 1, 2, or the latest 3. Everything is still coexisting. So that is where the overlap, if you want to see, you would also see the overlap of 1, 2, and 3 as well happening. So not only at this junction of the Cultural Revolution 3 that is sweeping the globe, we are also ready at Rajasthan for postmodern cultural tourist version 3, which has really hastened the new normal of where our tour operators, the intermediaries, would have to reinvent themselves and understand Rajasthan is the place where you would find all this happening. And the people from Rajasthan, I find themselves to be a little evolving more than people from other places in understanding crafts and culture as an integral part of tourism offering. Now, almost 90% of the nations across the world have also understood that craft and the culture part of it is where they have to put emphasis. Unlike the modern European nations, they are also seeking the culture as one aspect to brandish. It has become a very integral part of the policy for the governments all across the globe. But India has always been there, always promoted craft and culture and traditions, and it has been our USP. So why look to other places when you have the same motivations at home? So use that and get into the version 3 of Cultural Revolutions and make it a beautiful showcase of your expertise, how you weave it for the clients that you find going away from you, that this craft and traditions would definitely be your redemption. So there are very popular crafts of Rajasthan, as Chitraji has really rightly pointed. We are very much into it. We love our crafts. There are very popular. If you have to count, there are somewhere around 108 crafts and more, if you keep on counting them. But there are certain very popular amongst people who really, if you talk about Rajasthan, these are the ones which everybody knows about: the pottery and the terracotta from wood, paper craft, painting, wall painting, metal craft, shell. What you can think of, you would find it. The bandhani, the bandage, the kathun, masuria, the weaving, the everything is so very much part of Rajasthan. In this desert, they all bloom with the beautiful appliques, the carpets, the gold and silver jewelry that you see is so very famous across the world. And that comes from Rajasthan. So Rajasthan, for at least for people in the intermediaries in Rajasthan, this has to be a place of defining your product, your services, your customer orientation with the crafts. That's what I am presenting to you. That is my claim, that it has to be yours as well. Now, even if you can see the pottery and terracotta that you have is blue pottery, very famous. It has really come from the distant shores of Iran. They've come in here. There is a Kagi Pottery, very famous. I'll take you to that as well. There is a Mulala clay tablets. What you can see behind me is also the same. Usta art is again a very beautiful, peculiar art, wooden craft. There are blocks and carved. The carveds are used to be the mainstay of rural entertainment, and the repositories of the Jajmani was also could have also been seen in Kavod. Kavod is not the same that you see from people now carrying their the young youth in doing the Shiv Bhaktis and all. But Kavod is a different thing. It comes from the word Kivad. I'll take you there. Kundan, Mina Kari, Theva, block prints. So I'll take you there, and let me just go to the. So I'm showcasing some of the beautiful crafts of Rajasthan, which actually has two purposes of showing here from my side. One is that they are unique to Rajasthan. They are unique because they are not shown to people, to the visitors, to the clients, to the customers. They can also be, on the other hand, they can also be a part of theirs. When they are trying to take that experience, get involved into it, these would also become the mainstay for the tourism service providers to offer them as a cultural revolutionary part. So these Molela clay tablets, you can see, these are votive terracotta tablets. Mostly you would find very close to the river Banas. As you can see, these potteries, the clay tablets that you see, these are actually clay tablets. And we also saw the same thing like Pashupatinath in Indus Valley seal that we saw. It's just the same. It's again the form of continuity that we can find from ancient land. So these are actually religious plaques, as we had also seen in Indus Valley, which was also a theocracy. There was a high citadel and a low citadel in Indus Valley. So similarly, we had these religious plaques, tablets, idols. Now, what is very unique of Rajasthan is the trinity of the Hindu pantheon, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Brahma. They're also connected locally as the local deities as well. So there is always a mix and match there. You would find Dev Narayan, which is also the Dharm Raja, which is what he is called as the Dharm Raja, is actually the one who is a local deity, but some of them would also connect with Yudhishthir. But some, to be very sure, it is he is a local deity. People from the tribal lands of the southern Rajasthan and also adjoining Madhya Pradesh, they all come together at a place in very close to Bhilwara. These tribals are Bhil, Meena, Garasias in the month of February, March. There is an annual shopping festival of theirs. They come along with their priest, who is a Gopa, and they would buy plaques dedicated to Lord Kaladeva, Goradev, and Bhairav. So these are tribal deities, which has really reflection in the Hinduism, and Hinduism also being reflected in the tribal. So that is also syncretism. The local, when I'm talking about Hinduism, is the major mainstream Hinduism I'm talking about. That is where you find the reflection here in the tribal people as well. So it is an annual fair. So not only would you able to get them, you can showcase your travelers how beautifully these negotiations happen, how the priest would buy for them, indicate which plaque should the client of theirs should buy. And this is again a beautiful interaction that you can have when you can see these whole exchanges happening. And once it is brought into the home, how the priest also puts the what you call as the sthapana in their homes. So that is also happening. So it is not only the craft of making the tablet that you can also see at those places at the potter's home, where you can also ask the travelers to make for themselves and take that, become a part of the experience. it is also a very unique attribute of showcasing Rajasthan. We have not really showcased the southern part of Rajasthan. So this is also where the tour operators can really. So now we, from the pottery, we have the blue pottery. Everybody knows about it. There is lots of good promotion happening because it's part of Jaipur tradition. So people, most of us know about it. But it was only in the 1960s because of the patronage of Maharani Gayatri Devi, which she really brought in Sri Kritipal Singh Shekhawat, who reintroduced pottery again, the blue pottery again, into the realm of craft traditions of Rajasthan. So that is again a beautiful. But there is also very beautiful anecdotes of how there were two brothers from Ajnera, very close to Agra, how they had put the glasses on the, as we all know now, on the manja, as we call it. The manja is a thread. You tie the kite and fly it, and then there is a competition who cuts the other thread of the opponent is the winner. So this is how the brothers were cutting down the royal manjas. So this is when Maharaja Savai Ram Singh Ji II, who was intrigued how these brothers were able to cut the threads, and then they told the Maharaja that they were actually blue potters, and they used to use glasses and glazes onto the threads, and thus they were also doing the same blue pottery, but it has real origin from Persia and went to the Mughal court. From the Mughal court, since the Amer fort people were the generals of the Mughals, and they also brought in Jaipur. So now this is now Kagi pottery is what is very intriguing, because as you can see, this pottery is very perforated, and it is at the place of Alwar, very close to Alwar, and around the region of Alwar, that you see this kind of a pottery. It's a very papery kind of so very thin pottery, made beautifully, intricately, and it's perforated. That's the reason it is called the Kagi pottery. And there are two forms of it. Now, if I have to tell you now, if you see this vase, this is coming right from the Indus Valley civilization. You can see on the left hand side, you have the pottery from Indus Valley, and you have right on that, on the Alwar, the modern pottery of Kagi pottery that we have. So this is again an example of unending continuity, a line of common thread connecting the past and the present, and of course the future would also be connected in the same manner. So now, the cover that I was talking about is this, the portable shrine, which actually is a correct word from the kivad or the kapat. The cover is actually a portable temple. Now it has generally it has 10 doors, but there are elaborate portable temples with 20 doors as well. They are all painted, and there is a pattern to it. Most of these stories that are painted inside are from Ramayana and Mahabharata. So these temples were taken by the Bhat, who would come to the Yajman. Now the Yajman would in the evening listen and marvel at the stories that the Bhat would have to say about Ramayana, the characters of Ramayana and Mahabharata. So he would start by opening the very first door, and the second and the third, and so the whole night the story would go on with each kivad or the kapat or the cover being opened for the judgment or the patron. Now, not only the Bhat was also involved in it, there was a Suthar as well, who would also who would also make the whole the cover, and there were also the painter who would also paint. So there were three castes involved in one particular woodcraft, and that was the beauty of it. And the whole ensemble would be presented as a story to the judgment or the patron. Now, coming to the Usta art, these are the beautiful art that you see when you come to the palaces, the forts, the Havelis of Rajasthan. you would see these beautiful terraces, the walls. These are actually the Ustad. So uh, this is again come from Iran, Persia. They were again brought in by the Mughals, and then from them to the by the Rajput families, the royal families, and then it is also called as the Manoti form of miniature painting, and it flourished in the 16th and 19th century. But now it's still being practice in Bikaner. It is either done on the ceiling on or it is on the leather, or it's done on the wood. So the one who does it, who is a master craftsman, is actually the Ustad, and from that word the Ustad community has taken the name, and they were the master craftsmen, and thus they are called the Ustad artists. And the master craftsmen now that we have are all wonderful craftsmen. Many of them are presidential awarded, Padma Shri awarded. They're all descendants. And one person who should be named is Hishmuddin Ustad Sahib, who really revived the art of it. And now Hanif Ustad Sahib, his relative, is really holding strong, and they are with the contemporary material, they are also using it. They are using it different beautiful designs which were not used in the tradition. So Ustad is also there. Now, if I can show you, it is a multi-stage process. Chitraji, am I audible out there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Completely.
Okay. Yeah, so this is, if you can see on the right hand side, this is how they are making. It's a multi-stage process wherein the framing and the measurement is happens first. Now on the right hand side, you can also see the Karan Mahal, which is from Bikaner, beautifully done. Anup Mahal, which is beautifully done by the Usta artist. And similarly, what you see in Ajmer, the Nasiya, Jain Nasiya, very close to the Dargah, has also the same artists doing their work. Beautiful, you can see it's a beautiful wood. It also not have, it does not only have a painting, it is also embossed. There is an etching and embossing happening. There is what you see beautiful yellow color is the gold foil that they use. So they have been using it on, as the walls has become the canvases, the ceiling, the wood, marble, camel leather items. They've all used every kind of an item they've been used. And now Hanif ji is also using new modern ways of putting them on various other materials which we are using in our modern times. So they're also trying to catch up with the modern times. They want to make themselves useful. They still want to hold on to their crafts, and that is where not only this is a collaboration between, if we are really promoting it, it would not only be a collaboration between the people, the craft community, but also with the tour operators, the community which is really helping them up, the color dyers, the gold foil makers, the leather makers, everybody would be also involved in it, and also the client would really become a part of the experience when they also do these under the guidance of the master craftsmen, and they also take with them not only the experiences but also a small part of it as a souvenir. So this is what I appeal to you all to take off it. So woodcraft block making is generally very usual, very famous, so this is patronized by Maharaja Savai Jai Singh. The block printing happened. Again, they would have a Multan Connect. It was Indians with the name of Bhadkada or Bhadgad. So Muslim craftsmen are the one who are really doing it. It's a dwindling craft community because of the partition. Most of the Muslim craftsmen had gone away, and the machine-made blocks are very easy and cheaper. So the block making is one aspect which we can revive it with the help of the clients. The customers are the new patrons. You are the ones who would really connect them with the craft community to hold strong and give us something to experience to your clients as well. Meenakari jewelry craft is also very famous. Now you would be very surprised to know that the Meenakari that you see here is actually done on the reverse side of a jewelry. What on the right, the right side, to extreme right, that you see the jewelry. If you turn them around, you would find them what you have on the left hand side, the leftmost side of it. So it is Meena means the enameling. So to give support to the jewelry, they would have done an enameling, and that the Meena is enameling, and Kari means the art or the work where they are doing it. So the art of enameling done on the back of Kundan jewelry is actually the Meenakari craft. So again, the roots are in Persia. The colors are metal oxide, so they are bright, mostly blue. This is one aspect. It is a smaller, these come in smaller pieces, so it is easier to do. The clients can do it easily, they can take it, and it is not very expensive for them to take them back. So Theva jewelry again, it comes, Theva is again, it's a glass. It is not usual, but you can find it here in the southern part of Rajasthan. And again, Pratapgarh is known for it. Theva jewelry craft comes from the word again Tharna, which is actually hammering. You are hammering small, thin wires of the gold around the glasses. You can see on the right hand side, the green pieces are the glasses. On top of it is the gold hammering. Mostly it is gold. Sometimes you can also find them in silver. So it's a delicate, detailing, painstaking, long process. But of course, the clients and customers, when you put them in here for a workshop or 3, 4, 5 days, and even if they have a little piece of it for souvenir, then that is also going to help them be reminded of it. So block printing is again Akola print, the Dabu print, which is also called, it's a mud resist print. Beautiful, mostly done in around Jaipur and in the southern part of Rajasthan as well. So you can see this, the center part of Rajasthan, the southern part of Rajasthan have got beautiful craft traditions. They are living craft traditions. They're still living there. People are still doing it. So these craft and traditions can be showcased. They have not been showcased as they should have been. The Bagru print, of course, from Jaipur, and they have a long historical background. These are actually the jajams that they were made. They were also used in the First World War when they became the canopies for the trucks, and actually, but they all started with the nomadic cohorts. When they used to go from the westernmost side of Rajasthan, they used to bring their cloth, give it to the block printers at Bagru, give them and move on to the sides of Madhya Pradesh, and they used to come back. On the way back, they used to pick them up, and this is how they used to get their clothes printed at Jaipur, at Bagru. Tie resisting Bandhani Leheria is of course beautiful. The Khatri communities is what they do it. So this is again very famous with the ladies. Now, if they are able to do it with themselves in here with the master crafts, helping them out, that would also be one wonderful piece of souvenir and experiences they can take back. Leheria is again here, you can see. Masuria is also there. Leheria is because of the wavy nature of what you see, the prints out there. Masuria is also again from Kota, wherein Masuri, it's a again weaving that happens. But here what you see is resisting tie dyeing, which is happening in the way in diagonal shape. Now, how can the tour operator use the craft tradition? If I have to ask you, as part of the experience offered to the clients, as I've been telling it to you, Cultural 3, as proposed by Pierre Logie, emphasizes more participatory and immersive cultural experiences that integrates creativity, collaboration, and co-creation, as I told you. So now, how do you do that? So you could have craft collaborative retreats, a particular place, a retreat wherein you bring in all the people, the travelers and artisans, the designers, everybody, and they combine together. They form an experience of making these crafts, tradition, and it would be cross-cultural exchanges. One way of doing it, it would be like this. Then there would be artisan homestays. You may want to put your clients in the homes of the artisan, wherein they learn the ropes and tricks of the from the master craftsman. And there would be also craft-based storytelling journeys. If covered would be one we can revive, that would be a beautiful way. The third and the third way of the third recitation from the Bhopas and Gopis is also what we can do. See, there are other ways of, there would be craft safaris and expeditions, and there would have been craft wellness retreats, craft inspired sustainable architecture, craft fusion through music and craft. There are certain events happening not only in Nagaur, but also very close to Bikaner, wherein the musicians of all lands are brought in. Even in Bikaner, the Man festival that is happening in Bikaner also bring in the craft with them, on also the musician with their accompaniments, with their musical instruments. And this is where not only would the clients would be able to listen to the melodies, the semi-classical folk songs from the rural folks of Rajasthan, but also be able to understand how to make an instrument there. So craft and digital innovation, this is one thing very, you can have a workshop where travelers learn how to blend craft with digital art, such as creating interactive textiles, augmented reality, enhanced pottery. These are a new age ways where you can always apply and showcase it to the world. It is not only for the tour operator, it could also be for the homestay owners. It could also be for the hoteliers to give them an extension, people who stay with them for weekends. The craft culinary adventures, again, it's from the craft, the culinary experiences that we can do. We have had India doing beautifully. Not many countries would be able to do that. We have the heritage walk, the culinary walk, the food walks. So these are the craft generation workshops we can also have. We've been having it. Then there would be craft tech exploration. How would the new technologies be woven with the old traditional ways of craft making? So this is all what we can all have it. So these are the ideas that I've thrown for everybody to understand how they can really use the changing times of culturally embracing these unique immersive experiences by the tour operators. So it is actually the real aim of today's experiences is transformation from a particular stage. You want to transform to a different stage where you are making sense of the world, enhancing your skills, understanding, connecting with your hands, connecting with the nature, connecting with the people, connecting with the traditions of the land. So this is how the culture tree makes sense to us. This is how we can really fight the struggle that people are having. Most of us, the new generation people, are not knowing things, how to weave them around the experiences. They either are moving into the my segment or they are really getting into the wedding destination operators. So you find most of the people getting into it, but these things also offer you a platform to experiment, to explore, and to venture out for the future. And with that, I take your leave and thank you so much. I hope it made sense to you all. This is my humble submission. If you want to connect with me, these are my email IDs. My name is Khaled, and we also do experiential travel, craft workshops, and community initiatives. If you have any questions, do write to me. I would be very happy to connect back and give you the answers to that. Chitra ji,
Right.
yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. A very wonderful presentation, precise, and you have elaborated it, and you have given us in detail everything related to the living craft. So if you allow me quickly, can I ask two things as a question? A humble submission. One question is related to technology, but that has been very much precisely been explained in your slides. So, sir, is there some apps or a technical part or the technology like mobile apps or something specially designed for the craftsmen to be promoted, because nowadays GI tags is also been applied. So in relation to that, is government or tourism department thinking of producing some kind of a mobile apps for that?
Well, of course, there are a couple of things that you have raised in your question. One is the GI tag. People from Bikaner are really definitely fighting, because some of our people who have gone abroad, they're also claiming the GI tag for certain craft traditions of India. But of course, the people are really not leaving them, letting that up. So yes, GI tag is there. Government has the authorities are also helping sorting these problems, because what for the thousands of years these crafts have come into their own existence. They survived. They've given a sense of belonging to the people of that land. They have given a economic viability to them. They have connected them with their own pursuit, as we want the others to do that. So yes, that is one part of it. GI is a little a complex thing that we can talk about later on in a different session. But there are mobile apps not from the government. I'm not aware of it, but there are private entrepreneurs who are trying to map up these, showcase them to the people. There are lots of them coming up. But of course, they're only they're not able to connect these with the tourism. They definitely want to showcase, but most of them are educational. So some of these apps are also coming from design institutes. There are others who are able, they came in for tourism, but they were not able to scale it up. I believe people from this tourism industry would be the people who would be able to connect, because they have been always connecting the dots. Whether it is giving beautiful luxury stays and giving beautiful transportation and airlines and connecting to all other monuments and all, they were the single point of contact where they would be kind of connecting all these. Tour operators would be the ones, I believe they should be doing it the way it can be connected. But having said that, app is good until it is kind of when you are not very accessible to it, but doing it physically is the one ultimate thing that you can do. Now these crafts, if you can always mix and match and understand which craftsman that you can connect with, so that from the app you can go to that craftsman and then get yourself exposed and experience his the craftsmanship. But ultimately, to make sense of your life for your customers, you would have to take them to that craftsman, and that is where physical world is much more real, because ultimately experiences come most in tourism by doing their own through their hands and seeing, with all including with all the five senses being involved in it.
Right, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and for coming on our platform. And from our audience, we all really wish we will have such more sessions with you. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your
sorry. No, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you. Please convey my thanks to Dr. Gulshan ji. This is an opportunity you have given for me to present the case for Rajasthan, present the case for the tour operators. And yes, we have a future. We definitely have a future. The only thing is we'll have to work it around. And we would be able to do a lot many good things together with the community, with the client, with travelers, with all the creativity that we can do it for collaboration. Chitraji, you've been very supportive. You have given me a good connect with this program. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your support.
Pleasure is ours, sir. And thank you once again. And our lovely audience will meet you tomorrow. Till then, take care of yourself. Keep healthy and just explore your surroundings. such kind of creative works can exist anywhere, any place. We just have to find it out. Thank you so much once again. And with this, we are coming on to end of this